About 2,000 years ago, this was part of the Mississippi River Delta. And over the last 2,000 years, the island has moved, shifted, and we've had increased erosion because there's no sediment source feeding this island chain anymore.
Where you want to go first, man?
That barrier island chain in southeast Louisiana provides nesting habitat for dozens of bird species.
If this island goes away, then we lose that infrastructure that they use for nesting. North Breton Island was chosen as one of the 3 early restoration projects in result of the Deepwater Horizon spill.
After the 2010 Deepwater Horizon spill, a trustee council was formed. They started a program to where they were able to allocate up to $8.8 billion as part of that BP settlement from the Deepwater Horizon oil spill.
There's a dredge about 3 miles offshore. We're moving sediment in, pumping sand on the island, building the platform back up to what it originally was.
Coastal Louisiana in general is extremely important to dozens of our coastal bird species that are dependent on this kind of habitat.
Historically, we had a thriving marsh along the coast in Louisiana, and year after year we're losing more and more marsh. So the fisheries component, the wildlife component, the recreational component is important to the residents of Louisiana.